Okay, we got fat influencers are dying from your boy Big Craig. Okay, so what's happening?
Obesity is the leading cause of death in the USA, but that didn't seem to worry these influencers too much as they
Okay, don't know, never seen, no, don't know, don't know. Um, I don't know. Like, this is like where the YouTube algorithm and is like creates like blind spots to me because like none of this stuff ever hits my like any of my algorithms, so I just simply like don't see it or whatever. So this is like news to me.
they made money eating vast quantities of junk food, opened salons to cater to morbidly obese clients, and
Salons, what?
even dedicated their lives to proving that you can be healthy at every size. Unfortunately though,
Nope,
all of
I don't think so. Can't really be healthy. How can you? You're telling me all these people have like perfect bills of health? Like they go to like a life scan or whatever, and they have like perfect blood pressure, perfect heart rate, like no arrhythmias or anything in their heart, like no diabetes or anything, like no.
these influencers met the same fate. And we will start with the youngest influencer on our list,
The youngest?
who made thousands creating his mukbang content until it cost him the ultimate price. Effichan Kultur was a body-positive mukbanger who made his living by eating vast quantities of food online. Despite
I mean, I guess
living by eating
pizza mukbang, patatzili mukbang, carne yark, tossed noodle.
vast quantities of food online. Despite his aged appearance, obviously due to his massive weight, he was just 24 years old at the time.
Oh boy, there's no way I would have guessed he was 24. Like, bro, like you see like the polar opposites of like, or at least I see the polar opposites of like body shape. So I see like the bodybuilder side, like if you take excessive amounts of PEDs, that shit ages you. But then you go to the opposite and you just eat and don't work out. This stuff seemingly ages you. I'm just like, Jesus.
Time of these images. His TikTok page had amassed over 188,000 followers, with his
I mean, get your bag however you want to, dude, but like, and this just goes to show you like how desperate people are to I don't know, for like fame or money. I mean, I get it, but he had like a winning formula that worked for him, and he just went all in. He pushed all his chips in, and yeah.
his content consisting of simply recording himself eating meals. Efechan was from Turkey, which has a bit of a reputation for being one of the most obese countries in the world, as 61% of the population are
Whoa,
overweight, with 32% of those being obese. A big
dang, that's just as. Where's America? I thought America's like what was up there.
factor of this is the food that is traditional in Turkey, with the biggest culprit being the traditional doner kebab, which is meat.
Oh, that's like a euro or a hero or a gyro or whatever. This I love eating these things. These things are good.
Stacked on top of each other and sliced in rotisserie style. These
Yeah, and then you throw on like a bunch of vegetables on there and a little bit of like dressing or something.
kebabs are just covered in oil, which stacks up the
Yeah.
calories and makes it incredibly easy to gain weight, which is
And it's not like this exact food's fault. It's more likely the case that he ate multiples of this. Like maybe he had this and then he went on to eat like some more food later and then some more food later. There's nothing really like inherently wrong with like a kebab like this or something. To me, this just looks like a cheesesteak more or less with like some extra vegetables on it. Um, yeah, there's nothing wrong with it, but you gotta know that like if you eat this, this is like almost like 2 or 3 meals worth of like calories in here. So while it may feel good now, I mean, like what would have been a smarter thing? Cut the thing in half, eat half now, and then eat half later. That could have been a smart thing to do.
Makes it incredibly easy to gain weight, which is something that Effichan had no trouble doing. He didn't seem to mind gaining so much weight though, as it was allowing him to live a lifestyle of eating out at high-end restaurants and earning a living without needing a traditional job. This wouldn't last forever though, as his awful eating habit would
I know, because like trying to have some sort of traditional job when you're like that big, it's like it's hard, dude. I I can't say I get it either. I can't because I'm just like, what am I? I'm like a 220 pound dude that just goes to the gym sometimes. So I don't know what it's like personally, but I can imagine that it's like very inconvenient if you don't have like a quote unquote normal person body shape. It just makes going throughout your entire life just that much harder.
would soon catch up with him with disastrous consequences. In December 2024, he was hospitalized due to his weight and the related issues that followed along, but was sent home and was allowed to continue getting his healthcare there. On the 31st of January, Effichan uploaded a video of himself getting some sort of treatment and physio, the caption reading, "continuing treatment at full throttle," but
Oh boy.
as it turns out, this treatment he was receiving wouldn't help too much. In his last TikToks, he was shown just lying in bed as his massive size meant he wasn't able to get up, suffering breathing problems and mobility issues.
Yeah.
And just 3 months on from his initial hospitalization on the 7th of March, Effichan lost his life due to presumed heart failure.
Wait, what was that article?
And lost his life due to presumed
Heart failure. Extreme eater famed for mukbang video showing himself gorging on food dies age 24 after weeks in hospital due to his obesity. And it's like, you see something like that, and you know, like I got like a bunch of thoughts or whatever. Like there's like a piece of me that's like, well, that's his choice. He wanted to do that. He wanted to live by the sword, so he's gonna die by the sword. You know, like a piece of me wants to think that he probably was like accepting of his death. I mean, I don't know. I'm just guessing. And he was just gonna ride it out for however long he could. Just get the money, get the bag, and just hang out and do what he loves doing, which is just eating. But then there's another piece of me that thinks, was like this, like the thought process. This was his norm. This is how he was raised. Would he have turned out different if he was raised a different way? Brought up with parents that had like a little bit more of a, what do you call it? More emphasis on like eating healthier or like maybe not as much. You know what I mean? Would this person still be around? I mean, I would probably say yeah. But then again, this is all like hindsight stuff, just to think about, you know, because you can't really sit there and ask this person in the afterlife, oh, if you could go back and do it all again differently, would you? Some would say yes, some would say no, or whatever. And it's like, there's no way to know that.
heart failure. Now, although Effichan didn't speak too much in his videos, the next influencer to lose their life was massively outspoken about her views on fat acceptance, even running a podcast to talk about health at every size. Dr. Kat Pause was an American
That's a doctor?
academic and a self-proclaimed fat activist, having degrees in philosophy and sociology, with her dissertation exploring the
A lot of Kat's research is around how fat bodies and fat people are dehumanized in our society. And the comments online further go to validate that even in death, fat people are dehumanized by society and discriminated against by our society. Uh, well, I think the reason that like all like with the whole dehumanization thing is like usually what sticks out is like traumas in people's lives. Like seldom do you ever go back and think about like you know like you go about like your day or whatever and you think about the couple good things that happen, but they just like kind of fall to the wayside of the one or two traumatic incidents that happened like a week or two ago. Those are the things that stood out to you. And so maybe one instance was maybe you got into like an argument or something in public, and then it came down to it, and it's like, oh, you're fat, blah blah blah, and you like that's it came down to like verbal throws, and people are like saying, oh, you fat piece of shit, blah blah blah, and so you can have like an incident like that, but generally, I would say most people, it's like generally understood that like when you have like a Maslow hierarchy of needs, it's like to some degree people like value like longevity and like life. They just do. Now the argument is like there's a gray area in there. You want like, you know, do you want to live a long and boring life versus like a live fast, die young type of thing? You know, the polar opposites of it. And there is like a little bit of gray in there, but like it's generally understood that like given the choice, I mean, people would probably maybe not want to live like the longest possible boring life ever, but like most people are willing to sacrifice like a couple years if they can eat like a little bit of good food or something. You know, that's generally what I think most people are okay with. But like, I don't know. Like, let me keep reading.
The stigma society holds against fat people. While yes, there's no denying that society does have a stigma against people who are obese, Kat took her beliefs a step further and argued that you can be healthy at every size.
Hmm. Would she make that same argument to someone that is excessively skinny? I wonder if she would.
Including morbidly obese, being a big name in the health at every size movement. Kat found ways to monetize her fatness too, which is her own words, not mine.
I really wonder, would she make the same arguments to justify being fat as like what if there's a bunch of skinny people online and you know how it's like a fat acceptance thing? What about the whole bulimic, you know, the thing where you like stick your finger in your throat and you like binge eat something and then you're like, oh, okay, that felt good, but then you know, like 5 minutes later you gotta like do all that shit. Would And then what ends up happening is like, you know, your teeth get all fucked up because like the stomach fluids going like all up in your teeth and whatnot, and then you end up being skinny because your body can't absorb any nutrients or whatever. Would she make that same argument? Healthy at every size, because you know super skinny is a size.
With one of them being launching the Friends of Marilyn podcast, and she actually ended up traveling the world interviewing other obese people for her show. The key point of her studies and her shows was that fat people aren't being given the same rights as average weight people, claiming that people are rejected.
But what rights are average weight people getting? Like what rights? Even average people get shit on. They just get shit on for like different reasons. I mean, average people get shit on for like looking a certain way, like oh your face is ugly, you're too hairy, you're too stinky, you don't look good, you're like misproportioned or whatever. Most people like are not 10 out of 10 like good looking people. That's just a fact. Like you can only do so much within your like control. You only have so much in your control. trying to say like an average person has like way more rights than like an obese person or a super skinny person. All right, that is like, it's silly.
housing and even fired from their job.
Oh, what?
Average wage people, claiming that people are rejected housing and even fired from their jobs for
They
same rights as average wage people, claiming that people are rejected housing and even fired from their jobs for
they are rejected housing and turned down for certain jobs. Okay, I could get that from, so like if you're like a bigger person and you're trying to like rent something. I mean, bro, let's face facts. Like whenever you get like a chair or a bed, there is like a general like weight capacity for like these given products. If you want like a specialty product, those things can be made, but it's like it takes it simply just takes more. People when people make products, they're made for like the masses of like normal people because they want to like, throw the widest net possible to capture the most people. Like whenever you make a product or something like this, it's like you don't want to make a specialty thing. Like if you want to, you can make a specialty thing, like a specialty chair or a bed or like a car or something like that. Like you can, but then the issue becomes, does that overweight person have enough money to purchase that like specialty thing? And with the current economy, it's like a fucking shit show out here, guys. So that's another issue. As far as like the whole getting rejected from jobs, it's like if you got a physically demanding job, I mean, I'm not trying to hire someone that's like it's gonna be a problem for me. I mean, that's just like what most people are thinking. Like now you could get into the weeds of like, well, okay, I got no problem with him being like a sales associate or something that's not as like physically demanding or whatever. Like that's fine. I don't give a shit about that. But like, what's the implication here? Are we implying that like construction companies aren't hiring like fat people because they don't want to like get out there and like work and shit? I would also make the argument that like average people don't even want to be like construction workers or just have physically demanding jobs. All right? Average people don't want physically demanding jobs either. They're just not attractive, period. You don't have to use the excuse of I'm overweight so I can't get this physically demanding job.
being too large. She actually wrote a study titled I Don't Care About Health, where she claims that she's
And it's okay for you to not care about health. The thing about that is, and I talk about this from the perspective of America, seldom in life are you ever incentivized to be healthy. When you are not healthy, you just get stuff. Because think about it like this. If you're like a healthy person at your job, and this happens to me all the time. Um, what do people do on the job? Well, your boss or whatever, or like your overseer person, whatever. They're always asking you to do the physically demanding thing. Like, oh, Cornel, you're like the strong dude. Go, can you come get this? Or, oh, you're the tall guy. Can you go do this? This is like really easy. It's like, no, it's not. When you are like the strong guy, when you're the tall guy, when you're the quote unquote like healthy individual, you are merely given more bullshit to do because you choose to live your life in like a healthy way. You want to be a little active, you go to the gym and whatever. And then you look at your job and how does your job uh like meet you? Only with more bullshit to do. Now, if you're the unhealthy person, you're the short person, you're the weak person, oh, you're not going to get asked to do as much because the implication is that, oh, you can't do it. So we're just not going to do that. Fuck that.
Always had a sneaking suspicion that despite being morbidly obese, there was actually nothing wrong with her body health-wise. In the same document, she wanted to convince people that being fat doesn't actually make you unhealthy, but provides zero supporting evidence for this. However, we would soon have...
Well, let me see. Had a sneaking suspicion that there wasn't anything wrong with me. I still went to war with my body regularly. Well, yeah, you're going to war with your body. Like, the body is not meant to have, like, that much excess like fat on it, much the same way of like bodybuilders. Like, you look at a bodybuilder, you're like, oh, that's a picture of health. It's like, actually, no, not really. The body's not meant to have that much like muscle on it. It's supposed to be have like a regular amount of like muscle and a little bit of fat, you know.
To convince people that being fat doesn't actually make you unhealthy.
If I could just convince enough people that being fat isn't automatically unhealthy. Well, what's the implication? If I could just convince enough people. Why do people need convincing? Well, it's because the assumption is that everybody understands that being fat automatically makes you unhealthy. It does. That's the implication with this sentence.
But provides zero supporting evidence for this. However, we would soon have some very strong evidence that went against this claim. Like I said in the introduction, obesity is the biggest cause of death in the USA. The numbers on it...
and also, isn't it like the biggest comorbidity of like whenever someone dies, it's like they have this many issues and then, oh, they were also obese. Yep. That's it.
Are actually staggering too, with almost 3/4 of the American population being obese. Over 70 million adults are classed as it. Honestly,
shit, dude. 3/4 of adults. So out of 4 adults, 3 of them are obese and 1 of them is not. That is like bullshit, dude.
these numbers should be a wake-up call to change your habits. And I do have a completely free newsletter that I send out every Friday, sharing healthy recipes which are high in protein and low in calories. Now, I know from personal experience how difficult it can be to change your eating habits. And I made this with my good friend Johnny.
It's also one of the hardest things in the world to go from being fat to like losing a shitload of like weight. It's hard because you have to change your mental. It's like the same thing with smoking cigarettes. It's the hardest step is the first step, which is just wanting to do it. You know, like it's a whole mental shift in thinking. And you know how that goes with people with their thoughts and their groups and groupthink and whatnot and hive-mindedness. I want to be a part of the group. I want to be accepted. So I'm just going to find a group, find an echo chamber that agrees with my thoughts. I don't want to change.
With the goal of teaching as many people as we can to cook nutritious meals. The link is in the description to sign up, or just visit Fat Loss Kitchen. And again, this is completely free. Now, Kat Porzay unfortunately did not change her eating habits and carried on her crusade against society for their abuse and discrimination of fat people. This was all up until 2022, when at the age of just 42 years old and living in New Zealand, she passed away in her sleep. She was working as a fat studies academic at a university in New Zealand at the time, and no cause of death was officially given. This would be the same as the next influencer to tragically lose their life. However, his content was less academic and more about food. Waffle.
Again, you want to live by the sword, you're gonna die by the sword.
69 or Taylor Lejeune was a 33-year-old food TikToker who posted videos of him eating huge and strange meals, accompanied by his excitable personality.
Damn, almost 2 million followers. Shit, dude. I mean, and again, you're out there, you're getting your bag. You do you, man. I mean, I can't judge. I mean, that's crazy. I'd kill to have that many followers.
Considering he amassed over 1.9 million followers and each of his videos gained millions of views, it's safe to say he was making more than enough money to support his eating habit.
Yeah.
And he needed it. If you take a scroll down his TikTok page, you can see that he must have been spending hundreds, if not thousands of dollars a month on huge meals and strange food items.
Today we're trying cookie liquor. I've got 3 McDonald's breakfast sandwiches. Which one's the best? I've got Lay's Waves Funyun onion flavored rings.
And also, those actually sound good. There's also a degree of the people that are watching this. You know, whenever you watch something, there's no rhyme or reason. It's just you watch it because you like it. You watch it because you like it, or the opposite, you hate watch it. You know, people got a bunch of different reasons why they watch things. There's also a degree of this person is obviously unhealthy. I think I'm better than him. I'm just going to look down on him. I'm going to watch this little cockroach crawl around and it just ruin his life by eating. There is a good chunk of people that are probably doing that with some of these influencers.
I've got 3 new pickled snacks. Let's see what they are. Loaded baked potato pickles, spicy garlic.
And obviously, I mean, to me, like, he's in like character mode. He's being like a character right now. All right. Like off camera, he's probably just like a normal chill dude. Like just chilling. But you know, when the camera goes on, he's like, you saw his little like profile picture. You know, he got the 80s glasses, the Malay haircut. He's in character mode right now.
And hot peppers. I got Surferboy pizza from the new season of Stranger Things. Let's see, what is this frozen pizza like?
Although his meals aren't as extreme as Effichan's, and he didn't share his fat positivity views like Kat did, that doesn't mean his health was any better. And you can see that Taylor was massively overweight, and his diet seemed to be the main reason for that. In a video uploaded on the 3rd of February, he actually shared the screen with his brother, and commenters loved him, even calling them an iconic duo. However, the next time we would see Taylor's brother would be under very different and
this dude's like not as big.
heartbreaking circumstances.
Hey guys, if anyone's being shared this video from another, or if you just don't know, I'm related to Waffler69, or my brother Taylor. He has passed away around 10 p.m. on January 11th, 2023, from a presumed heart attack. He was rushed to the hospital, and I want to say like an hour and a half later, he passed away.
The most shocking part is that Taylor's brother revealed that their father and grandfather died from heart failure, and Taylor died of a suspected heart attack. For the most
So with that, some people would argue, since it was a genetic disease, he was destined to have a heart attack. So it didn't matter what he did. So it's okay for him to eat all this food. So do whatever. I would say, yes, there's like some genetic stuff in there, but the excessive amount of food is also not helping his case. He could have, because what age did he die? At like 33 or something? He could have died at like 60 or 70 or even 80 or 90 from a heart attack, and he just simply could have lived longer. Now, given the choice, I mean, again, do you want to live fast and die young, or long, boring, quote unquote, healthy lifestyle?
For the most part, Taylor was pretty uncontroversial and didn't make a big
Uncontroversial. He was just out there, just doing his thing.
fuss about his weight or talk about it much, which is the exact opposite to Brittany Sauer, whose entire personality was based around her weight. Brittany Sauer was another professional TikToker who was 28 years old and lived in Springfield, Tennessee. Her hobbies included mainly gaming, but her biggest hobby was creating videos on TikTok, eating and showing off her body and supposed weight loss journey. Her TikTok account was called Sick and Tired of Waiting, and she boasted a following of almost 500,000. But the main interesting part was her account description.
Regaining my mobility and life bed recovery. Type 2 diabetes. I'm on Twitch.
which read regaining my mobility and life, BED recovery, and type 2 diabetes. Now, although she did like to
I don't know. I thought that was bed. What's BED?
make jokes about being fat, it's the second part of her bio that we should focus on, as she said herself that she was in recovery for a binge eating addiction, and genuinely did seem like she was trying to make steps to change, even sharing her weight loss journey very openly.
Oh my god, I am 21.6 pounds down now. I'm excited. That brings me to 433.6.
I mean, that's good. You're like down weight. But at that weight, you can still like literally just go for a walk and lose weight. Yeah, you should be going on more walks. And so what? Let me hear. Here again.
To make steps to change. Even
She was trying to make steps. Okay, so this is like the beginning, the W. This is a W. Trying to make steps, so wanting to change. Hardest step, a first step is mental.
Sharing her weight loss journey very openly.
Oh my god, I am 21.6 pounds down now.
She said, "Oh my god, I'm down 21.6 pounds." Okay, and it seems she is excited about it. So what's the implication? The implication is she doesn't want to be this weight. She wants to lose weight, but she simply doesn't know how. All right?
I'm excited.
She's excited. She doesn't want to be this weight. She wants to lose weight, just doesn't know how.
That brings me to 433.6, down from 455.2, and I'm so excited.
I will say that the rate that she lost weight, however, was incredibly slow, as she lost those 20 pounds that she talked about over around 150 days. So it's clear that despite her efforts to eat in a calorie deficit and exercise, it objectively wasn't working. It seems like Brittany herself knew this too, as at the end of 2022 she posted this TikTok, seeming to finally open her eyes as to just how serious her situation.
And also, a whole nother aspect to this is the environment that you're in. I mean, I kind of hinted at it before with like your like upbringing as a child, and then into like teenage years, and then preteen, teenager, like adolescent, adult. You know, it's the environment that you're brought up in. If your parents don't know how to eat, chances are you don't know how to eat. You just eat. It's just as simple as that. If your parents don't know how to cook and they always go out to McDonald's, chances are you don't know how to cook and you're just going to go out to McDonald's.
Was becoming.
I ruined my life with food, binge eating, and lack of self-care. And I'm hoping that it's not too late for me this time. You know, I ain't been to the store in 2 years, maybe more now, I guess.
Never been to the store in 2 years.
I went to the post office once and that was hard. I went to urgent care and I thought my legs were gonna give out from under me.
Jesus.
I had to stand there the entire time after walking in. You know, I kept just looking back at the chair and just praying that I could just make it another second.
So like going back to that doctor lady, like what's healthy about that? The whole healthy at every weight. What's so healthy about your legs giving out from underneath you at age 20 whatever, 28 was it? What's healthy about that?
Start of the TikTok, Brittany prays that it hasn't become too late to change, but unfortunately that would be the case. On the 2nd of January 2023, just 6 days after the previous TikTok, Brittany unfortunately passed away in her sleep, with many people pointing to a heart attack as the cause of death at the age of just 28. While Brittany was making an effort to change her life, the next influencer to lose her life was in the complete opposite.
And like another thought I just had is that like, I got no problem with however you want to live your life. Like, if you want to do that to your body, go for it, do it. I mean, it don't affect me. Do whatever you want. The issue is that whenever somebody gets that big and they go to the doctor or something, they qualify for disability. And when you qualify for disability, you all of a sudden start to get free handouts in the form of taxpayer money. That's when it becomes an issue. You are taking taxpayers' dollars, and because you don't know how to control yourself is essentially what is happening. And that's the part where people get pissed about the tax dollars going to a disabled person.
Frame of mind.
Society makes you hate yourself if you don't look a certain way. And I am damn determined to change that.
This is also true of like average people. Like, let's say you're just an average person. You still get this effect on social media. Looking up to like the bodybuilder bros with all the filters and all the girls like getting the what's it called, the BBLs, the Brazilian booty lifts surgery thing. Same thing, filters, lighting. I gotta take the picture at the perfect angle, the perfect filter, and, you know, all that shit. So it's not only like an obese person problem. This is an everybody problem. And even amongst the tippity top of like good looking people, it's still an issue around the tippity top of people. Everyone's always looking up. Always looking up. Like, oh, what's ahead? Who's above me? Am I at the top yet? Nope, don't want to look down. Always got to look up.
Jamie Lopez was a 37-year-old reality TV influencer who starred in the show Supersize Salon, which, as you can probably guess, featured sassy women who were all morbidly obese. Jamie actually owned the salon behind the show too, named Baby Doll Beauty, and despite being the owner, she was pretty much completely immobile, having to greet clients while sat in her chair.
Our new location today is the opening. It's a few hours away. There's still things that need to be done. I'm really excited about it, and it's going to be an epic event.
Jamie also shared her reasons behind launching the salon too, and they're probably what you expect.
All of our chairs are fully equipped to hold up to 800 pounds. You know, it's an experience. You know, we wanted to create an environment where big women can come and feel like we treat it like royalty instead of go through discrimination like we do when we go to like regular salons that can't accommodate us. So yeah.
Well, yeah, because most people aren't that size. That's why salons do that. The salons go like, what do most people look like? Oh, they look like average. Okay, well, let's do that. Let's equip our salon for average people.
And you use the word discrimination. Let's talk about that feeling. You said you have experienced feeling very uncomfortable or feeling, is it ostracized because of your size at
Absolutely.
times?
I mean, regular salons that I go to before I opened my business, it was like to the point where I stopped going because I felt so uncomfortable.
Well, in your salon, do you even cater to like average people? Do you cater to skinny people? Or if they are allowed to come in, do they feel out of place whenever they come into your salon? Let's use a little bit of your own logic.
And, you know, they couldn't, some of the salons had to turn me down because they didn't have a chair for me.
Right.
So I knew I wasn't the only big girl that went through this. So I wanted to create an environment where everybody can come and get pampered and gorgeous.
I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that. If there is an audience of people that can go to this and the business can be sustainable, well, then great. But if you do this, open up this type of business, type salon, and people like just aren't coming in for whatever reason, well, you only have yourself to blame.
Gorgeous and waxed and everything.
Outside of launching a plus-size salon, she actually launched a plus-size nightclub too, which was marketed towards the morbidly obese, seemingly as a way to normalize it. The comments on this video announcing the nightclub were pretty disturbing too, with people—
Beautiful club, beautiful ladies, Jamie is queen, I love BBW. As always, the star in the room, I love what you're doing, Jamie, you're changing the world. right? You all look amazing, having fun. Congratulations.
Actually not just supporting the idea of the nightclub, but promoting obesity itself, including those who fetishized it. I love
Yeah.
plus size women. The bigger, the better. And obviously, these are the types of comments that Jamie was looking to attract, which unfortunately just further entrenches the idea that there's nothing wrong with their weight, because other people seem to like it. Unfortunately,
In a sexual term, or from like that angle, yeah, like do whatever. It wasn't really the point of like the topics. I think the topics like were like initially, you know, everyone's coming at this from like a little different angle, like health, like obesity being healthy, or like fat acceptance, body positivity, blah blah blah. Like I thought we were coming at it from like a health standpoint, but now, whenever you want to take away the health aspect out of it, and then just people want to like do it for like sexual gratification of like preferences, it's like, yeah, sure, do whatever, I don't care.
Unfortunately, as we all know, this is completely false, and in all honesty, dangerous. As we've seen with the majority of people in this video, almost all of them have died due to some sort of heart complication, such as heart failure or a heart attack. Obesity significantly increases your risk of a heart attack by around 28%, and for every 5-point increase in BMI, it raises your risk of heart failure by a massive percent.
Damn.
At her largest, Jamie Lopez was a staggering 840 pounds, and if she was the average height
She was 840? How? Bro, that's like 4 dudes. If a regular dude is like about 200-ish pounds, that's like 4 dudes of like 210. I couldn't imagine one person having like 2 or like 3 or 4 of me like just mushed together, and that's the weight.
Height of around 5'4", that puts her BMI at 144, putting
She was 845.4.
her at huge risk of heart failure, which is unfortunately exactly what happened. In December 2022, she was rushed to a Las Vegas hospital with heart complications, and at the age of just 37 years old, succumbed to her obesity. It's honestly terrifying to think that some of these influencers were proponents of the healthy at every size movement, which is objectively incorrect and just downright dangerous. And if you want to see more people who live their lives at over 600 pounds but want to make a change, click the video that's on your screen now to see the most disgusting episode ever on my 600 pound life.
Dang. To someone. Oh, get out of here, Oblivion. I'll deal with you later.
Obesity is a
Dang. That was a good ass video, dude. Thank you. Thank you. I mean, fat influencers are dying. I mean, again, like, it's your body, do whatever you want with it, but the point of contention, I would say, is that once you qualify for disability and you start taking money from taxpayers, that's the part that people have an issue about. Other than that, like, if you want to be a fat influencer, yeah, do whatever. I mean, I don't give a shit. But do it with like some conviction, at least, because if you have any doubt in your head about doing it, well, then you should probably change. Like, don't kid yourself into trying to justify it's okay to be fat or whatever. I mean, technically, it is okay to be fat, but you're gonna have to deal with the consequences that also come with being fat. And that includes dying at an early age. And if you want to live by the sword, you're going to die by the sword. So it is what it is. But overall, cool video. Yeah, man. Good stuff. But that's pretty much it for me. I'll catch you guys on the next one. All right, later.